Okay, so this is a presentation on fanfiction and how you can write a very short, at least minimum word count, 200 words, a few paragraphs about your waifu or her husbando, and in what I think could be a way that is artificially algorithmizable or potentially might be used by AI in the future. And I'll be doing this by considering different types of adjectives and different types of anagrams or mnemonics. So first of all, I'm just going to define what the term waifu means. So what does the term waifu mean? The term waifu is a term that is used to describe a fictional anime character or someone that has a great affection so basically a fictional anime character that someone has a great affection for, from either an anime or from a comic or the anime version of comics, whatever that is. So what is the origin of waifu? Well, one of the origins of waifu, by the way, this picture isn't mine. The origin of the term waifu is believed to have come from a 2002 anime character called Azumanga Daioh in one of the episodes of this manga. And it's basically refers to when you think about a female anime character as your wife, or a husbando, the other way around, your fictional husband. So when you describe some fan fiction, or when you describe the life of your wife, you want to think about different types of adjectives. So there's different types of adjectives. There's opinions. Is she beautiful? Is she is she good? Is she kind? Is she cut? Yes. Personality traits. Some ocean, some hexaco. Is she extroverted? Is she introverted? What about her size? Is she big? Is she small? Is she 5 foot? Is she 6 foot? Is she 7 foot? Is she way larger than you? And her age, is she the same age as you, or is she 20 and you're 40, or are you both in high school and stuff, fan fiction thing? And what about shape wise? Now shape wise, I don't personally think that you can see a person's people say that on a photograph in the real world you can have a round face, you can have a square face, and you can have a triangular face, but I personally don't think that you can see that. But that is something that you can write about. Maybe you saw that a square face, and then it affected the way the light bounced off her face as she was walking up to you to the cafe, and that was when you know that she was going to be your waifu. And then the colour, this is fiction, so it could be red, blue, green, or it could be the traditional diversity of colours that you get in the real world. Whitish, tinges of brown, tinges of yellow, tinges of black. Is she mixed race? And that moves on to origin. Where is she from? Ethnicity wise, traditionally, has she moved around a lot? So it could be where she's born. It could be the fact that maybe it was America and she moved around from state to state. And then material wise. So that material wise, that's an interesting one because it's fiction. She could be an alien from another planet, made from wood, metal, and glass. Any of these things, she could be made from slime or something, or maybe she has the ability to shapeshift or transform. And or maybe it could be the type of material she wears. Maybe she wears silk, or maybe she wears tends to wear polyester or something like that. So moving on to the purpose. So why did you meet her? So purpose could be about anything. It could be about why you met them. Maybe they were in your college class, or I wouldn't personally recommend that. Keep things professional. But or maybe there was a cookery class, or maybe on a dating site, or maybe it's a fictional universe, and and you're both warriors, and this is what happened. Or maybe you're just friends, and you're doing something gardening, decorative, and it was just like one shot, and you're just like, okay, I know this person. And then the quantity, just how many waifus do you have, or were you a speed dating person, and then you met many potential waifus in a fan fiction. Or maybe you're a greedy person, you have many waifus, body pillows and whatnot, and the condition of your waifu. So, you know, you could talk about body pillow, or can't remember what it's called, or don't mean to offend anyone here, but or you could talk about, you know, the conditions. So, you know, when I say condition, I think condition is a bit of a weird word, but condition is probably something like, you know, was she like rough, you know, in the fan fiction, did she come home and then she was really tired and her hair was a mess? So the condition would be, you know, she was really tired, but the condition of her being tired might affected the other physical characteristics and how she looked. You know, she was tired, her hair was a mess, she obviously forgot to put her makeup on, you know, her collar was inside out, it was asymmetrical. And then the sound and the texture. So texture could be, you know, like more intimate scenes, but sound is kind of like, you know, I heard a loud sound from the other room. You know, I rushed and she was doing some cooking and she had burnt stuff, and then I rushed in to help her. That's interesting. So no need to get embarrassed, but this is interesting. I'm not a wifey person. I unfortunately, I like to think that I like have at least one waifu, but who knows. So, so this is what you can do. For some people it comes naturally, some people it doesn't. I'm just making this as a information kind of thing in case it helps other people and just to kind of contribute to the community. But what you can do is potentially put all of these adjectival characteristics down, and then with an axis, and then write down one thing relevant to it, you know, and then as I'll show you later, you're going to have to mold those things together into a paragraph. So a paragraph usually is about 4 to 6 lines. So basically, the axis here is basically, so you would have to fill this table out, and the paragraph is sentence by sentence, and then at the end you'd have to combine them together. And the axis you'd think about how you talk about it. So, for example, would I mention the purpose first when I start the paragraph? You know, I went in and there was cooking, and then I saw that, you know, her face was charred. Not because that she was charred, obviously not, because obviously her origin, you know, she was a Nordic person from a Norway or something like that. But the char from the poor cooking skills had obviously called that, and the square face obviously meant that the dust didn't really come off her face very well, and you had to very kindly get a tissue and wipe it off, you know, and her skin felt really rough. She obviously hadn't been taking care of herself, so and, you know, that was a concern because she's quite young, so you know, early 20s, so that was a real concern. And she was a bit smaller than you, so you could very easily, very kindly clean her face with her consent and asking permission, because her face was so dusty that you weren't sure about how you should clean it. And you know, and as you did that, you worried, you know, she's a lady, can she not handle herself? And you thought to yourself, yes, maybe I will. You know, do you want me to wipe the soot off your face? And you did that, and you thought to yourself, there was a pack of luxury tissues in the other room, maybe I should have got them. Instead, the kitchen tissues are a bit more rough for her face, and you want to treat your waifu kindly, because the waifu or husbando, you can do it. Basically, fan fiction, as you do it, your adjectives, you know, the characteristic traits, personalities, you know, how the day's events affects how they look, how they act, you know, how their ambitions affects how they act, you know, how their origin could affect their personality, and how their culture could affect your interactions with them. So this is it. So, for example, you fill it out one by one, and you can say to yourself, so opinion. In my opinion, my wife is very beautiful. She cooks a lot of food. Size. Even though she's not too young, she's quite small and tiny instead of large. Age. My wife is not too young, although some people have wifeys who are older than you. Shape. This may explain why her face can be thought of as round instead of square and triangular, although this differs based on the lighting. Color or colour. This differs from other people, sometimes only waifus. It can be red, blue, or green in colour. Origin. My waifu is made from human flesh and is not made from wood, metal, and glass, which makes it easy to touch at night when she sleeps next to me in the same bed. This makes sense because she's not human, but she's actually from planet Earth, and I'm trying to show her what the planet's like. And material. So in this particular instance ties in with origin. They're not really distinct characteristics. They have a bit of fuzziness to them, but we tend to talk about these things distinctively. But you know, these adjectival things are kind of interrelated. So, and purpose. So yeah, material. So because she's an alien, that makes it acceptable for her to shapeshift or whatnot in way of wood, metal, and glass. Or maybe that's what she's wearing as armor or something. And purpose. So I have a waifu because I love her, and not because I need her for cooking, gardening, or decorative endeavours. Although she does help me with chores around my house, and she makes my lunch for me. So quantity. Unfortunately, I only have one waifu, although some people have two. Several, even many more than that. Quantity, crimson. So condition. My waifu was always a good, clean condition. I wash out often in more organised home. Now I'm just adding a bit of cringe here with the body pillow thing, but not everyone has. Many of them don't. For many, it might just be like a cringe thing, like I have a fancy on it, but I'm not trying to judge anyone here. Apologies if it comes across like that. And texture. So the texture of my waifu body pillow is nice and soft. And so that's like a lot of adjectives, but when you actually write in fan fiction, unless you have this like thing to hand, sometimes it might happen. You know, you learn about adjectives in primary school, so for many people it's easy. And also, you know, when you watch anime and things, it does kind of improve your emotional vocabulary a bit. Sometimes to a big extent, because you know you learn about plot, you learn about different types of words. You learn how different types of conversations. You know, many animes there's drama. You know, there's romance. You know, there's battle scenes. So you learn a lot of adjectival phrases, but it might not come clearly for some people. So unless you have this table on hand, you might not remember it. And if you're just running, you know, you're bored, you know, you're having a sleepless night, and you want to write a fan fiction, you might just think, you know, what can I write? You know, can I say anything else when I'm in this paragraph? So what you can do is you can make like anagrams, like or mnemonic like words out of them. So you can, those 10 adjectival phrases, by the way, there's other ones as well. You can remember using the 3 words spasms, Coco, and QT, a quarter time. So Coco, the monkey, had spasms at quarter time. That is a good one. So let's have a look. So Coco the monkey. So colour, origin, condition, opinion. Coco the monkey had spasms: size, purpose, age, sound, texture, material, shape. Had spasms at quarter time, quantity, texture. So think about it. Coco the monkey had spasms at quarter time. Colour, origin, condition, opinion. Spasms: size, purpose, age, sound, material, shape. And then quarter time, quantity and texture. And pictures might help you. So there's the Disney movie Coco. I haven't actually seen it, but that came up on there. But I think that Coco the monkey in this is I don't know if I remember the Crash Bandicoot game. That's an awesome game. But I need to see this film at some point. This is an awesome movie, apparently. So colour, origin, condition. Yeah, this movie is meant to be quite good. So colour, so Coco, or you can also be chocolate. So colour, origin, condition, opinion. Had spasms: size, purpose, age, sound, material, shape. At quarter time. So quantity, texture. So you could be writing your, you know, initial part of your fan fiction about your waifu, or you know, just want to write some fan fiction. You know, it might not be a waifu. It might just be like, you know, it might just be a generic fan fiction. I don't know. You want to like write like a sci-fi thing, and then like I don't know, you have a spaceship, and then you meet like a friend, not a waifu, like a fellow warrior in the spaceship. You just want to get to know them before a battle or something. So so you think about it, Coco, the color of their armor, the origin, where they're from, which space station or planet they're from, the condition of their armor, your opinion of them. They weren't carrying their gun properly in their holster, so you thought, is this the kind of person? I really hope that he knows what he's doing on the battlefield, because I really don't want to die. And the size, yeah, this guy's an alien warrior, so he's very big. The purpose, obviously, I'm in a space station, so in a battle, so I don't know, some planetary defense force. The age, well, as a human, I was about 40, 50, but the alien was about 200 years old. The sound and texture, as he walked, there was a lot of sounds, it reverberated on, every footstep reverberated as it walked, I was sitting down at this PlayStation cafeteria, and as he walked, the hot chocolate vibrated, which was surprising, because being a space station that was fit to defend the planet from alien threats that were hostile. Not all aliens are bad. Everything, even the cups were meant of like soundproof material, but this guy was huge. This alien man or woman. And then the shape. So shape isn't always related to size. So size can be big. But shape can, maybe the alien was like an actual orb, because life forms can be varied, and the quantity, there was add a bit of temporality into it. Later on, a few waifu warriors or alien warriors or whatever fanfiction context you want came, and you couldn't quite make out the texture of the armor. So Coco, the alien, had spasms at quarter time. Quarter time being referred to, like footballers, that's quarter time. So color, origin, condition, opinion, size, purpose, age, sound, material, shape, and quarter time, quantity, texture. So this is my one, and sometimes having some funny pictures really helps to remember it. So size, purpose, age, sound, material, shape. Spasms. The S, just added on that because I think sometimes when you get stressed, you tend to have more spasms. Whereas unfortunately, some people have actual like hardcore spasms because of medical issues. Unfortunately, that's like a medical term. And there's that one. So color. In the color wheel, the origin, where is she from? The condition, she doesn't want to look at you. The opinion, Princess Luna, Princess Celestia are happy that you're watching this video. And then the quarter time, the quantity, it might not be like, you're just meeting them, and maybe you're hiring them. They're female mercenaries or warriors, and you need to hire them. You're like, she's a lady, she's actually like really like assertive and assistance. You're like, you need to come on this team for me to take down this dungeon so we can win. And then the texture. Texture. Maybe the fan fiction is not a 3D thing. Or maybe, I don't know, your actual girlfriend got turned into a body pillow. I don't know, Daikimori, whatever it's called, for a day. Or maybe you get transported into the 2D sprite world. What is life like as a 2D sprite? That's interesting. So, as a waifu lover myself, here is my idea, my finale. So, later on you can see how it works with tables. So, after a while you may not need the table, but a lot of people might not necessarily need it. Just because it's there doesn't mean that you need to use it. You can philosophize quite a lot of things, but I actually think it can actually help. So, so Coco the monkey had spasms at quarter time because she was playing football, and unfortunately footballers do get spasms, unfortunately. Or you can remember it another way, like I drank cocoa, hot chocolate, and then there was like some weird flavour, some spicy flavour, and then I had spasms, unfortunately, that night. I will never definitely buy that exotic flavour of hot chocolate cocoa again. So this is the finale, the magnum opus. In my opinion, My waifu is very beautiful. She cooks a lot of food. I have a waifu because I love her, and not because I need her for cooking, gardening, and decorative endeavours, although she does help around with chores around my house, and she makes my lunch for me. She makes a nice sound when she cooks. And then, you know, you could do your own thing. So you don't have to have one sentence for colour. You know, you could have it jotted around the paragraph, and you can expand upon it. You know, colour. You know, she was wearing white armour. That was unusual because white dye in this, you know, in this day and age was very rare. You know, white dye was very rare. You know, she was gilding, but the gild of the armor must be made from rare metal on top of that. So obviously people can have more than one color on a dress. So it isn't like a solid one singular abstract thing. So although she does help around with chores around my house and she makes my lunch for me, she makes a nice sound when she cooks. You can have a sound effect, you make your own audio thing. I only have one waifu, although some people have two, several, or even many more than that. My waifu was always in a good, clean condition, and I wash her often in my organised time. The texture of my waifu body pillow is nice and soft, so I'm trying to make it empathetic as possible, so it kind of sinks in, and to kind of make it kind of a bit sensualistic. But many people don't have this. Waifu is kind of a general term, so please don't hate on the anime community and the waifus, but waifu is kind of like a general term. And believe it or not, I know that people often hate on waifu. So basically, a body pillow, I think it's called dakamura, is basically something with a print of an anime character that some people have. And there was a stereotype of, you know, this anime person eating Cheeto dust, but that stereotype can be harmful because at the end of the day, you know, like, people are people. And also, like, these kind of things, you know, bring people, that demographics, or maybe individuals that might not traditionally watch anime into the community, because they're like, what the heck is a body pillow? And they do it. And then they think to themselves, oh, this is quite interesting. And then it draws into the community. And also, it is kind of like an artistic thing. Me personally, I don't personally own one. I wouldn't recommend getting one, but I'm just going to sensationalise this bit. So my waifu is made from, and no need to hate on if you do have one, and that's awesome. So my waifu is made from human flesh, and it's not made from wood, metal and glass, which makes her easy to touch at night. This makes sense considering that she is from planet Earth. I made a mistake there, she's not from planet Earth. Even though she's not too young, she's quite small and tiny instead of large. My waifu is not too young, although some people have waifus who are old and new. My waifu is Asian and therefore yellow, white in colour. So in this context, even though she's not from planet Earth, you know, Asian is kind of the closest like thing I have to describe. It's interesting because even though Asian is this, in this particular context, I'm thinking about the ethnicity, or I don't know, could that be like in kind of like an adjectival form? So this differs from other people's sometimes alien waifus who can be red, blue or green in colour. This may explain why her face can be thought of as round instead of square and triangular, although this seems to differ based on the lighting. She's usually very quiet around the house and does not normally speak, although she talks to her friends a lot over the phone, much to my annoyance. So that is around 200 words, and you can kind of expand on it. So how can I expand on it, you know? You know, talk about what she cooks, you know, the smell of everything. That wasn't in the Coco Spasms Quarter Time. Talk about the wood, you know, and then you could even talk about how you doubted your food. On second thoughts, you know, as you walked around, you know, to the left-hand side, you got closer there, maybe not. Yes, maybe you were dreaming. The dress didn't seem shiny, as shiny as you thought it would, which made her seem quite beautiful. But whatever the food she was cooking was certainly good. She was quite old. She was using hair dye, but the hair dye had a nice shine to it. So, you know, drive your imagination wild, but be if you can. And apparently, I wanted to do this, but unfortunately, I couldn't afford it. Apparently, you can get free like anime voice modulators. I think you can get free ones, but the installation time ran into a few issues there. So I hope you enjoyed it, and that is how you can potentially write an introduction or for your fan fiction, and then use mnemonics or anagrams to remember adjectives in very quickly at the top of your head without necessarily having that table on hand. And after a while, you might not even need that table. I don't think most people need it, because most people, like animes and film in general, teaches you a lot. When you watch a drama, you learn a lot about people communicate in tense situations. People use all sorts of colourful words in anime and other media. So I hope you liked it, and thank you very much. And this is once again showing you how every single sentence from the table intertwine together to make that. So thank you very much. So even though it's tablistic, I'm actually wondering if in the future, like this kind of table kind of thing could actually be used to make like a waifu story generator, because with like GPT and stuff like that, you can get bots and stuff that make these stories. So maybe in the future, and it is the truth, like even though you don't need it from a programmer point of view, like you need to think about, you need to like define your variables and all of that, one, opinion, purpose, this, is, which one do you do first? So that's quite interesting. So if anyone's doing computer science or super intelligent or has a ton of free time, that's interesting. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a nice day.